All right. Today is Control R. I'm gonna try that. Today is September 15th, 2021, and we had an it looked like prices were starting out in this range, but then off these lows, it was like, oh, this could be an uptrend, and then boom, it just shot up and big time movement. Big time movement. So this was a very educational day for me. I hope you guys all learned something too. Look at how consistent these lows and highs were. And then it just turned into a large move up, which was very cool. And if you watched Mack's video yesterday, he was saying in these bear markets, which it seems there might be a bear trend starting in these bear markets, you have nice sell-off days, but then you also have some nice correction days, and that's what we had here. And as you can see, as market is starting to close, we might get a nice pullback. But yeah, let's take a look. Oh, there's some trades in here, so let me pause the video and put some on here. Pretty confident that I got everything in here. So, oh man, so to start the day, we had this nice leg down. And then I think you come in around here, which is 5 o'clock, I think. We get a first entry, failed second entry long, and I'm watching this bar set up. And my son woke up so early this morning, and I'm watching this bar set up, and there was like 400 ticks left in it, and it was like right around here. And I didn't want to go short on the engulfing bar, just because they were inside this bar. And my son stood up on the couch, and he's not too good at standing yet, so I was like, I turn around. It was like 10 feet away from me. I had to run over, and then this bar closed. I definitely would have taken that. That's a very nice failed second entry long, and I would be expecting another leg down. So that's one leg, and then this is the start of another leg. So I like that entry. As soon as it bounces off these highs, as soon as it bounces off these lows, I'm looking at this as a range. You could probably take this higher low right here. That's aggressive though. And then yeah, we get this congestion right here right before the open, and you get a double top, first entry, second entry. I'm not opposed to taking that because first of all, it looks like a short trap, but second of all, because we broke up into this congestion and we're expecting to test these highs. So we first trend down, first entry, failed second entry long right here, but that's kind of far from the EMA, and it's going into the lows that have already look, these are matching lows pretty much, so I don't like going short into that. We do trend a little bit down and probably trap a lot of shorts. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like that's the trend. You see we come up short of the bottom of the channel, and that leads to a break. You don't really get a higher low entry in here. The higher low is right here. That's on the midline and on the opening price. Failure comes right here, but that's way too far from the EMA. Failed second entry short. But that's a really nice move up. And that does look like it's a channel. I'm thinking it's like that. Let's see, where's the midline? Yeah, I think that's it right there. First entry, second entry long, that's aggressive. That's off the, I mean, we just came off the highs. It's just that we had this very strong move up. So I would expect a move up to be made, and that is what happens. Price start responding to the EMA, but that was probably just a trap. They trap a bunch of longs, and we get this big move down. Here's another failure, but that's just really far from the EMA. That's what I would be thinking about. But it does look really close to the trend line, so you might take that. Yeah, and it looks like we get an overshoot, so that's pretty aggressive. I'm going to delete these just to But that's something to consider. But yeah, it's close to the lows, so that's just tough. That's a tough one to pull the trigger on. And it looks like we got 2 legs down. Then we bounce here, and we have a potential trend line. Bravo to you if you immediately drug that up here and made it fit, because that turned out to be really important. We make a leg up, and 1 leg, 2 legs of correction, and then we make another leg up. That comes short of this measured move, and maybe people looked at that, and that's why we had a little double top to a nice corrective leg down. And then look, we get a bounce off that, and I think I took that trade. We get a bounce off the lows again, and then we make a higher low, and I think you got to take that. I do think you got to take that. I only marked it aggressive because it still looks like we're in a range. And then I had this range drawn. Here you get a first. This is just a higher low. Okay, yeah, so this, okay. After this following bar closed it, it looked like a repeat pattern of this to me. Just a higher low with this doji trapping some shorts above the EMA. It closes above the EMA, boom. So it looked like a repeat pattern. That's another reason I like that one. And then we come back up to the highs. I don't think you want to go short here just because we are trending up and this channel hasn't been broken. I was thinking about going short here on like a lower high. Couldn't pull the trigger. There's some overlap here, but then when we get this matching high and this really bearish bar, I think you got to go short there because it still kind of looks like we're in a range. These matching highs and stuff like that. But then it bounces here. First entry, failed second entry short. Boom. Takes off. I was in this trade. Unfortunately, I backed out because I got scared. I'm like, I'm going into these highs. But if you saw that too and you stuck with it, bravo. Especially if you entered, oh wait, you can't enter on this one. If you entered on the engulfing bar after this ticks down, then I think you just get a scalp. But if you enter above this bar, which is what I did, you'd get like a 6-point runner, I think. So anyway, we form this spike and channel, and we overshoot this channel. But who knows? This could be, let's see. Yeah, that's probably the channel right there. I didn't even check. And yeah, look, that midline works. So that could probably be it. So anyway, we formed that spike and channel. And I looked at, I ignored these new lows here. And I just looked at this as a first failed second entry. That's way too congestive. So maybe I shouldn't even mark that. I probably shouldn't. But we get a slight pullback. It goes higher. First entry, failed second entry. That's close to the EMA. After this huge move up, I would take that. I would take that. In hindsight, I was too nervous to pull the trigger on any of these, really. First entry, failed second entry, and it's off the midline. And this is looking like a really strong trend at this point, so I like that. We got a first entry. We got an overshoot of the channel. First entry, second entry. This is aggressive. It's below the EMA. And we don't know that this is a level of support yet. First entry, second entry. Signal bar is not great, but it's matching low, or it's testing this low again. Then you get a first failed second entry long. I think that gets you a scalp. And then this looks like congestion. So at this point, so we get this lower high. You might take that. But that's super aggressive because price has been trending up this whole time. And yeah, we're getting this sell-off. There might be an opportunity for a failed second entry long here, but since prices were trending higher this whole time, I don't think I would take that. But that's what people usually do. They exit their trades at the end of the day. So anyway, we make this move up again, and you get a first failed second entry short. Again, I entered here, but I got nervous. And I don't think I really should have been nervous because, this is a pretty strong move up. And I got out at break even. But I feel like once this bar formed and it went lower and then it started coming back up, I should have moved the target back to a scalp because that triggers a second entry. And look, that works out. So that would have been a good trade. And you could have even entered on here, the second entry, first, second entry, and that would have filled you up. And now it looks like, yeah, we're selling off. So that's what I saw today. Let's take a look at my entries. So I really wanted to enter on this. I was pretty frustrated that I missed that. But I didn't let that mess with my mentality. Another thing to point out, guys, is this leg up. And then look, we hit a measured leg. So maybe if you saw that, you would go short there. And that's what caused this big move down. So let me get rid of that. And yeah, so I like this. I think, yeah, it looks like I entered on a limit order too. But that's a good entry, this high or low. And let's see if you would. 41, 43. Yeah, so that's a nice move. It gets you a scalp no matter what. I entered on a limit order. I do like this entry. I do like that entry. Just a high or low. It kind of looks like a second entry as well. First entry, second entry. Yeah, so that's a good one. Oh man, and this entry. I look, it bounced perfectly off my trend line, and I just couldn't. It's going into the high, so that's just going to take some practice. I'd love to hear what Mack has to say about that. There was no break of the trend line, so I think that's what I should have been keeping in mind. But on the other hand, I mean, the top of the trend line, it wasn't hitting the top of the trend line. So that's why I was like, ooh, it hasn't hit the top of the trend line. We might be expecting a break soon. So, this was not good. This was not good. So, I was looking at this as a failed second entry right here. It looked like it was a failure. And so I entered on a limit order just thinking it would test this low again, which it did. So that's cool. I mean, I got a scalp out of it, but I'm going short into an uptrend. 66. Yeah. So this is just not a wise decision. I was pretty disappointed because I was being patient with all these, and I was like, I wasn't entering. I should have been entering with trend on these, and so going short, that was just silly, very silly, not a good idea. And we might get a failure here. We'll see, but and then that worked out, but then we have this one, and look, I'm entering with trend again, and that is a failure. First, failed second entry long. And maybe the true failure is first, second entry here, and that makes this entry even more appealing. So I wish I stuck with these. And let's see if we get a failure right here. Looks like a good place to enter. Should fill pretty quickly if it ticks below that, or hit the targets pretty quickly. We'll see, but that's far from the EMA. So let's see. And those are the entries I took. I do, again, here, I think once I saw it tick below this and start to go higher, once it ticks above here, that's like the same, yeah, that'd be the same point of entry for this bar. So I wish I stuck with that. I do think this is a failure. We'll see how that goes. But look, that's overlap and that's a doji. So that's one reason. Don't look for failures and congestion. So we don't know what's going to happen here. But looks like a pretty strong move down. But anyway, that's what I saw for today. Those were the entries I took. I hope everyone has a great day. And I'll be back tomorrow.